Shrines by Moya Cannon. Moya Cannon was born in County Donegal in 1956. She studied history and politics at UCD. She taught in schools for young travellers in Galway and in NUI Galway. Her poems are about the natural world around her. What is the meaning of a shrine? It can be a place of worship that is holy because of a connection with a holy person or object, for example, Mecca or Knock. It can also be a special place in which you remember someone who has died. For example, in Paris, they have built a shrine to Princess Diana. In Ireland, you may see many shrines erected at places where somebody has died in a car accident. Have you noticed these roadside shrines of bunches of flowers or little crosses? Have you ever attended the funeral of a young person? Can you remember any thoughts or feelings you had? Stanza 1. You will find them easily. You will find shrines all over Ireland. There are so many. You can find them on lampposts or the side of streets, near roundabouts, places where accidents happen, by canal locks, where perhaps somebody threw themselves into the water and drowned and their body came along by the canal lock. By quaysides, again, another place where people commit suicide by throwing themselves into the river. They are haphazard, passionate, and weathered. Here we have three adjectives describing the shrines. Haphazard. They are random and unplanned. You can literally find them anywhere. Just like an accident can be random or unplanned. These shrines are passionate. The people who make them are putting all their strong emotions into those shrines. Weathered. Because they are outdoors, they have become discoloured by the weather. They are like something a bird might build. Here we have a simile. The poet compares the shrine to a bird's nest. It's not a perfect 360 degree circle, a little bit out of shape, like a bird's nest. A demented magpie. It looks like it was made by a crazy, insane magpie. A magpie, as we know, loves stealing shiny things. So we're saying here that the shrines are made up of many different pieces, such as flowers, perhaps photographs, something belonging to the deceased person. So the shrines are made by humans who are suffering in grief. And the poet is comparing these humans to crazy magpies. And these humans bring things such as blue silk flowers. Blue, the colour to remember the dead person. Or perhaps real red roses to show how much they loved that dead person. Some may bring an iron sunflower, a sunflower the symbol of faithful love. And others may leave a Christmas wreath to remember their loved one at Christmas time at the shrine. Others may bring wind chimes, which are believed to keep away evil spirits and to bring good energy. Other shrines may have photographs of the deceased wrapped up in cellophane to protect them from the rain. Angels, angels, angels. The poet notices that many shrines have lots of angels. Angels are messengers for God, or protectors. And hearts, hearts, hearts. Again, the poet uses repetition here to show how many shrines have got hearts placed at them. Again, to show the love that the grieving family have for the deceased person. And we know that this is the very place. When we see a shrine, we know this is the exact place that the police fenced off with tape, that the police arrived on the scene and had to do some investigations. When we see a shrine, we know that a funeral took place and that a church was jammed. It was absolutely jammed or full with black-clad young people. Unfortunately, most of these shrines are to remember young people who died in traffic accidents or perhaps drowned. And we can imagine that all their friends were wearing black clothes at the funeral as a sign of respect. And we know that underneath the flowers which are placed at the shrines and underneath the wind chimes is a great boulder of shock. We don't see the grieving families, but the shrine is a symbol that that family is suffering from a huge amount of shock. It's like they have a huge rock inside their heart. Here the poet is using a metaphor to compare the shock of losing their loved one to a great rock inside, with no one to shoulder it away. The person who is left behind has no one to take away their pain of grief. To let grief flow, this big hard rock of grief that is in the person's heart that's left behind is preventing them from crying. It's stopping their emotions. Like dense tresses of water over a weir, the person wishes they could cry. Like heavy, dense hair is being compared to a water over a weir. The person wishes they could cry like a river, but they can't because the big boulder of shock is in their heart. At first, the mourners are shocked when their friend dies. This shock is like a huge rock blocking the full feeling of grief for a while. When the shock wears off, the rock will move and they will experience the full power of grief, and it will flow like a weir. If no one helps the person move from shock to grief by helping them move the rock, they will be stuck in the shock of grief forever.